Today, distinguished colleagues, we invited Alhaji Bala Wunti. So, Bala Wunti is already on oath, so you may not need to take another one. You know, he submitted his report to the committee, which we gave members, and we said he should come back and then give us a synopsis of the report. Do you have copies of the report, any extra copies? I know you've submitted to the committee, we have circulated to...
I can just go through his synopsis.
No, we have circulated.
I can
No.
You can give the chairman a copy of the synopsis.
Just the synopsis, sir. Carry on. No, carry.
Mr. Chairman, Mr. Vice Chairman, distinguished members of this very respected committee, distinguished Senator of the Federal Republic, good afternoon. Last time I was here, I was directed by this esteemed committee to go and review the NNPC 2023 financial statement and come back with any comment or observations. I have done just that and had gone through the 2023 AFS. And the issues arising therefrom were also very much thoroughly validated. And therefore, I would like to make the following submission. I'm not going to take the committee's time because I have given a formal report. But in 4 buckets, I'll be talking about my role. First, I was deployed to NAPIMS, National Petroleum Investment Management Service, in 2020, March precisely, as the Group General Manager. Shortly after that, PIA was enacted, and in line with the requirement of the law contained in the PIA, NNPC needed to move from NNPC the corporation to NNPC the limited liability company. Subsequently, the company was incorporated. Following the incorporation, NAPIMS transitioned to become what is now called NNPC Upstream Investment Management Services, NUIMS. And I serve also as the Chief Upstream Investment Officer of NUIMS up until December 2024. Mr. Chairman, it's important to note that although the period under which I superintended NAPIMS and NUIMS falls within the period under the review of this committee, it does not entirely cover it. The second point I would like to pinpoint, and which I think it can help the committee to understand the complexity and the workings of NNPC, and it's not very typical, or it's not atypical to NNPC alone. Every national oil company performs more than one role. A typical commercial company performs only one role for profit, and they go all out to maximize their profit. However, every national oil company, whether it's Petoro of Norway, Saudi Aramco, Petrosa, Petrobras, they all go beyond the one mandate. This is the same thing in Nigeria. NNPC performed trinity of functions. They acted and conduct as a commercial operator, where they are required by law to go and do the businessman-like function. Also, the law permits them to be trustees of the federation, where they keep in trust the entire oil and gas asset of this country, and are expected to function as fund managers. So they are also trustees. Thirdly, they also function as stewards. And in their stewardship responsibility, the requirement is that they must do all unnecessarily for the purpose of producing hydrocarbon in a very transparent manner, in such a way that they will protect the energy security of this country. These three functions, unfortunately, or fortunately for NNPC, you can't pick and choose each one of them. You must put them in a balance. And that creates the complexity in accounting, reporting, and auditing. That complexity was well recognized, where you find out prior to the PIA, NNPC functioning as a regulator, functioning as a policy maker, and even functioning as a businessman. And there's what I can describe a jollof rice conduct of its activities. This legislature deemed it fit to pass the PIA. One of the key reasons was to separate this function.
Are you reading this one?
Yes, sir. I'm reading this function. I'm reading it.
Analyzing it.
I'm not reading, but I'm paraphrasing it, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir. So basically, that complexity makes it expedient to keep more than one book of accounts. As a trustee of the Federation, they keep one account book to report everything that is being done on behalf of the government of the Federation. And it also keep another book as the business activities. NUIMS, the organization I superintended, was mandated primarily to handle one of those functions. That's the function of the trustee. And what we're doing then was to manage and supervise the government investment in production sharing contract as well in the JV. And this is basically what the roles were. I would like to state categorically that throughout the period under my stewardship, there was no reported fraud and there was no money missing. Now I would like to comment on the issues that has generated a lot of commentary across the Nigerian space. There were two issues that were mentioned. One regarding the missing fund of 210 trillion. Mr. Chairman, I've gone through page to page of this document. I have not found where 210 trillion was mentioned. However, my understanding is that this was the PIGO arrived at by adding two balance sheet components. And those balance sheet items, they are contained, one in page 80, what they refer to as sundry receivables. And it's approximately 107 trillion. And the second number was in page 97 of the same AFS, and what is referred to as accrued expenses. I'm not an accountant. By my understanding about receivables, these are money other people owe you. And accrued expenses, they are payables, which means it is money that you pay other people. My little understanding of accounting also, the rules of accounting does not allow you to net any of these numbers, where you are required to report them independently. And that is what I saw in these books. However, these were added 107 trillion plus 103 trillion, approximately, to give you the 210, and were declared missing. It's important to note that these numbers were all reported as part of the AFS that have been given to review. And therefore, by all my understanding of accounting, this cannot represent money missing. And so I'm of the opinion under oath that there's no 210 trillion missing based on the AFS that I've seen. The second issue was the issue of how much NNPC paid in the cost of incorporating it as a limited liability company. I'm very sure, based on the laws available, every company that needed to be registered must pay two fees. They must pay the filing fee, and they must also pay the stamp duty. Stamp duty go to FIRS, now NRC, and filing fee go to Corporate Affairs Commission. The total amount paid was about 2.4 something total for the two institutions. It's important to underscore that these institutions are government institutions, NRS and Corporate Affairs Commission. And so the amount being quoted as being used to register the company 5.8 is incorrect. The only money paid was the half of that money. The error perhaps may have arrived at taking the entries in two books, which I have explained earlier. NNPC is mandated to incorporate on behalf of government. Government is the shareholders represented by MOPI and MOPI, Ministry of Finance Incorporated and Ministry of Petroleum Incorporated. These companies, as shareholders of record, are supposed to pay for the cost of registration of these companies. However, that money did not come from them. What the corporate headquarters of NNPC did was to do all the entry in their books and then direct the trustee of government, which is NAPIMS, to make that payment. And obviously, when directive is given to NAPIMS, it must also enter its own books. So you see these numbers as an outflow from NAPIMS and probably as an inflow into the corporation. The error could have arisen by someone adding these two numbers and arriving at 5.8, and then triggering that 5.8 was used to register the company. Again, for the record, only 2.5 something billion was used, and they were paid directly to government institution, no third party, no anybody, because under the NNPC policy, we don't need third party to pay government agencies. Having said that, it is important to underscore the fact that any national oil company accounting is a complex one. Hydrocarbon accounting architecture is also a complex one. And what I would suggest and recommend is that going forward, there's need for a closer engagement. First, for NNPC to realize that it has shareholders. And therefore, shareholders has appointed auditors in the office of the Auditor General of the Federation, and it also have a line of sight to the Accountant General of the Federation office. So prior to any accounting or reporting, it's important that they have some alignment. Second is that it's also important that, Mr. Chairman, because all this role of NNPC is mandated by law, it's obligation that in order to understand the efficacy of the law and to appreciate how NNPC operates, we must conduct a cluster readings of the entire laws. From the Constitution, 1999 Constitution as amended, if you look at section 16.1, it empowers the company to operate as a commercial concern. The PIA restricts that in section 64 and 53. And it also enumerated the issue of other things to be done. So with that, I think I would also like to suggest finally that it's important that a community reading of all these laws are done in order to appreciate. And that reading must be done not only by NNPC, but also by the Office of the Accountant General of the Federation, by Auditor General of the Federation, and then if there are any clarificatory questions, then can be addressed. Thank you so much. I'll stop here, sir.
Okay, thank you for your brief. Like I have said earlier, he appeared before the committee, he collected the report, and today he's bringing back his input. So I think it is very appropriate for members of the committee to look at this report, and see if there are further questions to ask. Then we can invite him after studying the reports, the details of this submission, so that we will talk from the point of information, comparing the numbers that he is quoting from the financial statement. And we will communicate with you further. Okay. He is not bringing the report.
No, but he has made extensive comments.
Do you want to add something?
Yes.
I suggest distinguished colleagues, I know there are issues.
Yeah.
Let's study it and come back on this. Yes.
It should
be right. We will still come back.
It's without prejudice.
No,
You have to come back, but if there are, because looking at the report, you have to take into account what he has said. And there are things he might need to clarify from what he said.
I think he
Without prejudice, how can we do monologue? You just
allow
need to
him.
us,
I would need to
then
gag
we
him.
say we'll study. If there are additional questions I need to ask, I should ask. I will take note of his answers, and then I will take those into account in my review.
let me take charge of this proceeding.
You are in charge, no doubt.
So that is what we will do. No, there are issues that we said they should comment on. And we make reference to some pages in the financial statement. We should go back and look at it. He is just bringing the report now. I have not studied the report. Is it the view of members that we should go and study it? Then if there is need, we call him back to the committee for more clarification.
Yes.
Thank you. Where are the auditors?